I am completely broke. And I don't mean broke in the, oh, I spent all my money in the casino and now I'm a little bit sad kind of way. I mean broke in the cool way. The gaming way. I was trying to buy some new virtual console games for my Wii, as one does, right? But as I gave the guy on the other end of the line my bank details, I realised the Wii Shop channel had been closed for 4 years now! I've never wanted to f*** a song more than this one. The Nintendo eShop has seen quite a few revisions over the course of its life, emerging as the Wii Shop channel in 2006, kinda spinning off onto the DSi Shop channel in 2009, and then continuing onto the Wii U, 3DS and Switch as time went on. That's just a really convoluted way to say Nintendo launched an online storefront in 2006 and never improved it. The eShop is usually regarded by most as a nostalgia trip, and by eShop I mean the Wii Shop channel, because I think most people consider that to be an eShop too. I mean, it's an electronic storefront, so they're not exactly wrong, but that's beside the point. The eShop we know today launched on June 6th, 2011 for the Nintendo 3DS via a system software update. For some reason, it just wasn't ready for launch, which is weird considering the Wii Shop channel managed to make it day and date with Wii systems. They downgraded it! The Wii Shop channel is like the bare minimum as an online storefront. It was born into that strange era where all companies were obsessed with points. You don't buy software with real world money, you have to convert that real world money into Nintendo points, which you then use to buy stuff on the silly little storefront. Looking back, yeah, it's got charm, but I'm trying to complete a transaction here. Save the charm for the little Super Mario Bros. Animation on the download page, not while I'm calling up my bank explaining why I just wired everything into the Skyward Sword save data update channel. The main services offered on the Wii Shop channel were downloading additional Wii channels, downloading updates, downloading WiiWare, and downloading Virtual Console titles. Yeah, that's obvious, but what did you expect? The Wii Shop channel lets you upload your own games to the Wii. WiiWare was a collection of smaller titles made to be specifically downloaded onto your Wii. And like the Wii's actual content library, WiiWare games vary from some of the greatest small games you'll ever play to content that makes you consider nailing yourself to a cross. But genuinely, there were some great highlights here. Mega Man 9, World of Goo, Dr. Mario RX, some of the greatest examples of bite-sized downloadable games. Gonna be honest with you, I don't think World of Goo is biteable. The Virtual Console was a new initiative launched by Nintendo at the time in an effort to actually start preserving some of these things. A collection of NES, SNES, and N64 games were available, as well as probably the most random lineup of older systems ever. The Master System, arcade games, TurboGrafx 16 and CD, Neo Geo, and Commodore 64? I mean, I'm a big advocate for game preservation, so I'll never complain about being able to emulate a wide variety of games on one system, but do you really expect Nintendo, of all companies, to start handing out TurboGrafx 16 games? That's like your preschool teacher offering you crack! Each system has a different price tag attached to it. For NES games, you'll be going for as low as 500, but for N64 games, you'll be shelling out a big fat 1,000 points for those. This is discrimination. And, of course, Wii channels were available to download. That's a fancy Nintendo way of saying downloadable software, and there was downloadable software, alright. All 4 of them. To be honest, I must have downloaded these by mistake or by accident or something, because I always assumed that Everybody Votes and Check Me Out channel came pre-installed with the system, but they both launched in 2007. The Nintendo channel was basically a one-stop shop for game trailers, interviews, and downloadable DS demos. Yeah, you could basically turn your Wii into a DS download station and feed it demos through Download Play, which would have been so cool to use as a kid if I'd known it existed. The internet channel is unique in being probably the most Nintendo-like way to make an internet channel. So in late 2006, Nintendo released the internet channel, a demo version. Then, in April 2007, they released it for free in full on the eShop. Then, they upped the price to 500 points for no apparent reason. Then, later said, oops, we f***ed up, and reduced the price to free again, and then let people refund that purchase by letting them download an NES game of their choice from the Virtual Console. What the f*** is wrong with this company? Oh, and also, Europe managed to get Netflix as a Wii channel as opposed to a Wii disc. Did anyone actually order those Wii discs? Were you that desperate for Netflix on Wii? So that was the state of the Wii Shop. There was also a DSi Shop channel that opened for the Nintendo DSi, but to be honest, it's more of just the same. They offered DSiWare instead of WiiWare for even smaller bite-sized games. But the inevitable would eventually come to pass, because on September 29th, 2017, Nintendo announced plans to sunset the Wii Shop channel, setting the death date of the service as January 30th, 2019. This thing oversaw the entire life of the Wii U with absolutely no relation to the fact it was also offered on Wii U in some capacity, and Nintendo only started talking about its death after the Switch launched. That's weirdly impressive. The only 2 titles left to download after the full closure was the Wii to Wii U transfer tool and the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword save data update channel.
Yes, I know I'm in the red. Can you just give me like 2 more weeks to pay it off?
In its place stood the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U eShops, which were sort of intertwined. Intertwined in the worst way possible is probably the best way to describe it. When both services launched, they were completely separate, like a divorced couple that just didn't want to be near each other. But when Nintendo updated the 3DS to incorporate the Nintendo Network ID system, you could share the bare minimum of things between your Wii U and 3DS eShops. It boiled down to the same personal information, wish lists, and balances. There really wasn't any cross-buy like you'd see with something like the PS3 and PS Vita. Except for those weird Smash Bros DLC bundles that were basically the equivalent of buying the character or stage twice.
Speaking of balances, Nintendo finally abolished the point system. Now we deal in real money instead of fake currency. Let me just check my balance real quick. Does the minus symbol mean they owe me money?
The content offered on the eShops takes the same foundation that the Wii Shop channel laid down. Downloading new software, updates for Virtual Console, they all return. Although WiiWare isn't here, you could use the backwards compatibility Wii mode on your Wii U to run the full Wii Shop channel, including all of its existing WiiWare and Virtual Console titles. So, that kind of works, but I do wish they offered the existing Wii Shop channel content on the Wii U's eShop. Separating the 2 pools of content, especially when the Wii Shop channel closes and the Wii U's remains open, just kind of sucks.
But the Wii U and 3DS did start to expand their own Virtual Console libraries, even expanding into new consoles, like Nintendo DS games on the Wii U or SNES games on the 3DS.
Also, this is a bit of a tangent, right? But I just genuinely prefer the aesthetics of the eShop compared to the Wii Shop channel. In comparison to the Wii U, the Wii storefront just looks straight up plain. And while I'm not denying it as charm, I just like this. Though, one thing that the Wii Shop channel had over the Wii U and 3DS initially was its fully updated and built upon Virtual Console library. I know I just said the Virtual Console was, at least for a time, still accessible via Wii mode, and that's still true, but I still don't think that's perfect, and Nintendo not immediately importing all of the Virtual Console titles on Wii onto the Wii U stunk. And they proved they were capable of doing this in some regard, as almost all of the DSiWare titles previously exclusive to the DSi were available on the 3DS.
I know that last point is a bit like comparing apples to oranges, and that's not my intention. I just want to have all of my Virtual Console titles emulated in one place, and not on my PC. Most would agree that the Virtual Console on Wii U and 3DS never really lived up to the Virtual Console on Wii, but soon, even this inferior Virtual Console library is going to die out. On March 24th, 2023, Nintendo is set to close the Wii U and 3DS eShops permanently. You can't even add your own funds to it anymore. You've got to use some weird workaround involving linking a Nintendo account to your Nintendo Network ID. Fun fact, I lied about my age on my Nintendo Network ID, and I can't use this method because of that.
As Nintendo dropped the Wii U like a newborn baby at the hospital and moved on to the Switch, a new eShop launched alongside it. Oh, I'm just so excited to look at the eShop. Nintendo improved the visuals between the Wii and Wii U storefronts so much. They could add so much, combine the best of both worlds, elevate the system to new heights. Fuck my life.
What's going on here?
So, right off the bat, we've got some of the same features that the previous stores had. You can download full titles, some demos, other software, pay for DLC. This is an online store after all. And that's sort of all there is to it. There's no fun things to watch while your software downloads. No cool startup minigame. There's just the most plain, laggy UI you will ever use for a digital store. While the Switch eShop is more functional in the sense that it's basic and easy to understand, the Wii U eShop is just so more inviting to look at. Since launch, aside from the obvious of dishing out new games, they've added features such as looking for great deals, looking at best sellers, and paying for Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo are truly modern revolutionaries. And oh my god, I think I could talk about the shift away from Virtual Console and onto Nintendo Switch Online subscription service as its own thing, because this is the worst way to spit in the face of your classic library, and they know it. The Wii U and the 3DS managed to branch into different consoles with their emulated libraries, but overall ended up with what at least felt like less content because Nintendo used none of their previous work on the Wii. Nearly that entire library, built up over the last 6 years, thrown out just to start anew. And then they did it again!
These aren't even slight downgrades or fixable solutions at this point. This is a downright devolution.
That best deal section, by the way, one of the incredibly few attempts to improve this console's eShop, flooded with shovelware. Absolutely flooded with it. Okay, I admit, the Wii Shop channel had a similar shovelware problem, but I'd argue it was never to the same extent as the Switch's. For the Wii, to make a full retail shovelware game, you'd have to release it physically. No taking the easy way out for those releases. You're either forking out the money to print discs, or you're giving up completely. But with the eShop, you can release nearly anything onto this platform. Anything!
So what can we learn from Nintendo's complicated and borderline abusive relationship with online stores? Nintendo sucks at being modern. No, they really do. In just about every aspect. How are Nintendo letting Sony run away with a conjoined PlayStation store between PS3, PS Vita, and later PS4 and PS5? While Sony were doing that, Nintendo were charging 500 points for an internet browser! I don't think Nintendo have ever had a home and a handheld console feel more disconnected than the Wii U and the 3DS. Feels like other pairings like the SNES and the Game Boy, the GameCube and the GBA would feel joined at the hip. But these? I think the bottom line is, the eShop sucks. But to improve it, Nintendo needs to learn to carry things like their Virtual Console library over across generations. Maybe they can keep like 3/4 of the Switch library though. Just this once.